I have been a UFO researcher investigator since 1989, and I am an abductee, an experiencer, someone who's had direct contact with extraterrestrial beings. What got me involved in UFO research investigation started with a trip out to Area 51 in the Nevada desert in 1989. I had taken 3 trips out to Area 51, had amazing sightings every time. I had all these paradigm changes. First off, UFOs absolutely existed. Secondly, they defy physics as I understood it. And third, that the government knew about it and was involved. But I also started to have memories come forward. So I always had this memory of these kids coming to the bedroom window and I going out to play. Well, suddenly I'm having a dream at night after having all these sightings of remembering that whole experience, but it wasn't little kids at the bedroom window, it was gray aliens. And that, yes, the adult was knocked out or something, was asleep, and I went out with the ETs. So I had an abduction. And then another experience when I was 12 years old, also staying out in Yucca Valley, staying at the little Yucca Inn motel. And I remember I kept going and drinking water, and I wasn't feeling good. But I remember everyone came back and I said, "Oh, what, you decide not to have your picnic?" And they said, "Melinda, we've been gone like 5 or 6 hours." Again, a dream at night, remembering that whole event, them going on the picnic, my staying, not feeling well, my going for the walk, but I walked up and over this little hill down to where this dry riverbed was, and that there was a landed UFO, a craft, and I had an abduction, was taken on board. They took like a little skin sample from my leg, and I always had this small scar area on my leg that I believe I got during that experience. I go from having these dreams to suddenly having present, current time experiences. For instance, I had a roommate at the time. We talked till like midnight. I said, "I got to go to bed right now. I'm only going to get 6.5 hours of sleep if I fall asleep immediately." I reached to turn out the light, checking the alarm one more time, and it was 2.5 hours later. And there's no way I was sitting on my bed for 2.5 hours. And my roommate, she said, "I knocked on your door." No answer. I knocked again, no answer. She said, "I opened your door, went in your room, you weren't there." Suddenly there's like a flash of light in the hallway. She looks expecting to see me, but instead of seeing me, she sees a gray alien standing in the doorway of her room. Now she was sitting in bed reading, fully conscious, sees a gray. After seeing the gray standing in her door, it just walked through my closed door as if it wasn't there. A year later, myself and 2 male friends were driving over a mountain highway, and the 3 of us got taken together from the car. We had an abduction together. Their names were Steve and Mike, and I got taken with them. And I said, "Mike, why are you stopping the car?" He says, "I'm not, that is." He points, and there's a gray alien in the road. And Mike's like, doesn't even have his hands on the steering wheel. He goes, "I'm not doing it, that is." And the gray was bringing the car to a stop, however. They do this thing that's known in abduction. It's called mind stare, where they look in your eyes. And they touch his forehead, look in his eyes, and he kind of slumps over, like they kind of knock him out. Often you're like beamed up. In most of my abductions, there's like a blue beam of light, and you're lifted up or floated. In this particular incident, like the one in the desert when I was young, there was one landed that I walked up on. Well, this is the second time where something like that had happened. As far as we remember, the craft was either kind of landed in the road or just hovering off the side. We were on a mountain road, so there was a steep hill to our right and a 2,000-foot drop-off to our left. So it was kind of either just hovering or partially on the road, and it had a ramp coming down. The beings around each of us walked us up that ramp onto the craft. We were undressed. Mike, they proceeded to go to take sperm from him, and literally like a month before this event, he had had a vasectomy. So they were exploring his vasectomy, questioning him about it. They took ovum from me, eggs from me. Our clothes were in piles on the floor, and they instructed us to get dressed on our own. Being walked out the craft, put back in the car, but when they put us in the car, they immobilized us, and they moved us into position like moving mannequins, had the electronics in the hands of the guys and everything, and the car started up. Mike, the car goes back onto the road, and that's when we notice all the electronics going haywire. I can say unequivocally, UFOs are here, there's an extraterrestrial presence, the beings are here. If those beings are starting to interbreed with the rest of us, if they're coming here and living amongst us, that's going to create a sea change. And I believe that throughout human history that they've done this, that they've come back, affected the development of humans on this planet, and affected our growth in consciousness, and that what we call modern day abductions is just the current phase of that. And that's what the creation of the hybrids is, and more and more abductees are finding that their hybrid children are living amongst us. And so that seems to be on the increase. That is what it's all about.